has the purpose of cultivating ecstasy, samadhi, and the purpose of thinning out the causes of affliction, the kleshas. So it's just saying why we're going to practice Svadhyaya and Ishvara and tapas that we already covered yesterday. So one is to enter samadhi. So we're going to talk about that on another day. And to free ourselves of suffering. Why would we want to cultivate samadhi? Well, samadhi, it does help us to concentrate, and samadhi gives us insights and knowledge about whatever it is that we use as our object of meditation. So we can gain insights and understandings through samadhi. It's not used just to have a pure experience, right? We want to have it so that it's useful. And then causes the thinning out of the afflictions, of the kleshas. So this Kriya Yoga, for me, when I read that, it means that it's to affect us right now, right here. Right? Because when we thin out the kleshas and all these difficult, kleshas are like this state of agony that we all feel. And so when it starts to clear out all that, then it changes exactly how you are in this day-to-day life. Not escaping. Right? Because we can think of samadhi as a way to escape, but it's not to escape. Eventually you leave, but the Patanjali teaches you go step by step. Like there's the ladder of samadhi. So it's not just escaping the world, escaping your duties and how you are with the others. Actually, we first need to know how to deal with the others before you can even really deal with yourself. You know, it kind of goes hand in hand. Does that make sense? Like when you deal with other people, you learn about yourself. Right? If you just go all by yourself, you never get the challenge of like how you react when somebody says something mean to you, or somebody doesn't do what you want them to do for you, or somebody has a different idea than you. How do you react? Right? So it's very important to have this be in this world. It's not. I believe it's not for nothing. And then what I wrote here, so yoga's two fundamental premises is life is full of suffering, but suffering can be overcome. Not by fulfilling all your desires, but in a much subtler and more difficult way. Difficult and easy at the same time. So it's not pessimistic. Sometimes you hear people say that, yoga philosophies or Buddhism, that it's pessimistic. But I don't think it's not really meant to be pessimistic. It's more, some people say it's realistic because the reality is that we all suffer. We put on our face and we act like, you can't look at each of you and see that you're suffering. But if we have deep conversations, right? You always know suffering does not come from the outside. It's the response that we produce. So things may happen to us, but we can choose how we react. And actually I read recently Jack Kornfield, he said the difference between reaction and responding. So now I like this, right? So the more we practice, the less we just react, the more we respond. Or we respond, maybe we still kind of react, but we react a little slower, right? Like before, maybe you would just explode immediately when you hear somebody say, because they're trigger points. If somebody did something to you as a child, and somebody can say something that triggers that same feeling that you had many years ago. Because we feel like we're stuck sometimes with certain certain habits, certain responses, certain experiences, right? An experience that may have happened to you at one point and you're still, you're still holding on to that experience. And if you hold on to that experience, it's holding you, right? And so if you want to have freedom, we're going to talk about Kavalya, but this is the step to freedom. Freedom isn't just going into this fantasy place. Freedom is being able to respond. She can take the foot, thumb inside, fingers outside, and then I'm going to watch what's happening with the rotation. And then she rotates on her. Okay, and then I want to look and I want to give her some guidance to whether it looks like to me this is a little too much, right? Can you guys see that? So I want to get her to get some lift this way. Okay, so that we already know the reference points when lying on the back, so we know what it should look like. This should look the same way. I'm doing more of the pose for her this way. So I'm squishing the back of the calf, I'm moving some of the skin out of the way, and then I bend the knee, holding over the ankle. I ask her to bring her hand flat, bend the elbow, so your hand stays like flexed, yeah, and then she bends the elbow, and then I want to try to guide her so she understands where the shoulder joint should be, right? But if you can keep your legs in place, and then you think about what we need. This is, okay, my shoulder joints are in the right place, right? And then I can come over, and then even if you have to get, but my shoulder joints are already in the right place. And so then I'm twisting. And then you're pushing. If I'm like that, I can't push. If I'm like this, I can't push, right? There's nothing to push on. Whereas if I can get here, I can push down, and then I can use that push to lift up.